Hey everyone, I just wanted to share with you two 88 palettes I've recently picked up from crushcosmetics.com.au. It's the 88 Shimmer Palette and the 88 Warm Palette. So I'll open those in a moment. I just wanted to let you know, for those of you that are international or haven't used Crush Cosmetics before, it's an online beauty shop. So basically sources of a lot of cosmetic brands we can't get easily in Australia stores, like NYX, Milani, Barry M, Be Luscious, China Glaze, etc. So I've used it quite a few times for online orders. I found the service always very good. It's great to support a local company, and also the prices are fairly reasonable when you're comparing, say, getting them internationally as opposed to getting them locally. So I was very keen when they had the 88 palettes on special. So these are two separate orders that I did. For those of you that want to know, Australia's normal price was $34.95. I got them on special for $27.95. So I thought it was fairly decent. For example, if I was getting 88 palettes from Coastal Scents, the cost of the shipping is the cost of the palette. So it just didn't make any sense to get it from there. Even going from another international supplier, the time to get it over, etc. I just found it was so much more convenient to get it here. I'm lucky because I'm in the same state as Crush Cosmetics, so it literally took a day for me to get them. So on to the palettes. I'll show you the 80. Actually, I'll show you each one. So the first one's the 88 Shimmer Palette. I've only had this a day or so, and I've played with most of the colours. I couldn't help it because when you open it, look how gorgeous it is. Absolutely beautiful. Very vibrant colours, very rainbowy colours. Now again, for those of you that do have the 88 Ultra Shimmer Palette by Coastal Scents, it does look a lot like that. I mean, I don't own it personally. I've only got the Blush and Contour Palette from Coastal Scents. But I've seen swatches, posts, blogs, videos and pictures, and they do look very, very similar because these are all shimmery finishes. That's just a quick look. I'll get to that in a moment. But the one I've been using for the last couple of weeks at the time of posting, every day in fact, is the 88 Warm Palette. And this one is gorgeous. Very earthy colours. Again, you get the mirror, and you do get two applicators in here, but I took them out. And that's the 88 Warm Palette by Crush Cosmetics. Now, I don't know if you can see it fairly clearly, but this does also look like a lot like the 88 Neutral Palette by Coastal Scents. So, yeah, Coastal Scents. Again, I don't own it, but I've just seen a lot of details on that particular palette. So, for those of you that maybe are in Australia and been looking to get an 88 palette, but don't want to sort of source it internationally, you can just get this from Crush Cosmetics. Again, the link's below if you want. Just to let you know, I'm not getting paid to promote Crush Cosmetics. I've paid for everything with my own money, so this is my genuine opinion. But I am not a makeup artist, so this is really just from my point of view. But I'll try and be as honest as I can, I mean, really. Now this one, again, is more my style because I love browns. It's got lots of browns, chocolate browns, lots of greys, a few muted or camo greens, a lot of highlight colours like tans, off-whites, and some berry colours and purple colours in here. So this is more my style. These are all the colours that I love to use every day. I love to use going to work, or even glamming up at night, like I'll do a more smoky look with some of the darker charcoal greys or the darker chocolate browns. So this is more my style. So it's something I would actually take with me when I'm traveling because it's so compact. You can see the actual size of it. It does come in a black box, just a plain little black box that you can put in. That's a little bit how thick it is. And they give you an indication of the size of the actual pan. They are fairly small. This is an Australian 5-cent piece. This is the actual pan. You can see that. There we go. So it is smaller. So it's a smaller diameter. But again, oops, it is obviously a fairly deep pan, so you do get a fair amount. And then when you think normal retail price is about $34.95, I got it for $27.95 with the special. So I paid about, say, 32 cents per shadow. Normal price would be about just under 40 cents per shadow. So that's actually a fairly good deal when you think about what we pay for some other brands in Australia in particular. My overall impressions. Now, for those of you in Australia that have tried brands like Chi Chi, I have a lot of different Chi Chi sort of palettes. I've got larger palettes. These are the frosted finishes. This one does have a range of matte and frost finishes, so these actually remind me of the Chi Chi Frosts. I've also used NYX, that's fairly similar quality to this, and ELF. Also, for those of you again in Australia, if you've used Australis, like I've got a lot of the different palettes, it's a fairly old one. Or even something like Models Prefer. Just trying to give you comparisons, something like that. This is fairly similar quality, I suppose the feel, the application and the colour payoff. And also something like BYS, which I find very similar to NYX as well. So they're fairly pigmented. I find they're not as pigmented because I do have a lot of matte browns in NARS, Benefit, and particularly MAC brands. I'm talking about these darker browns down here. I have a lot of those matte browns. I didn't find the colour pigmentation to be as much or as deep as the MAC ones. It's just a brush. I've already used it, as you can see. I'm just going to wipe off. And you've got to be very careful when you go into the pan. They are fairly loose on the top when you first start using them because they are dome shaped to the shadow. They're not as compressed as some shadows. So you get quite a bit of flyaway or powder. You probably can't see it. So you don't need to dig. Do not dig the brush in. I've already done some swatches, but that's just the brown. Yeah, just in one little swipe. It's not particularly strong, but you can actually build it up. I do actually have it on at the moment in my crease and V. Probably can't see it. But I mean, if you've got a good base or a good primer to your eyelid, you should get a fairly good colour payoff. And it does seem to last all day, but then again, I am using primers. I've got my Prime Time by Bare Essentials or my Urban Decay Potion primer. I use these MAC paint pots and it seems to stay on fairly well. But then again, like I said, the pigmentation isn't as strong as some of my MAC shadows or my higher-end shadows like Estee Lauder or NARS, Benefit, etc. And they are some of them are a little bit softer than others, like a little bit like the Stila. I've only got a couple now. And some are a little bit chalkier. Some of these creamy ones I do find a little bit chalkier than some of my MAC shadows. But overall, I really, really do love this palette for the amount that you get, the compactness. And again, just so that you know, the packaging, there is a very thick, sturdy plastic thing. I already call it guard here. It's not quite like the Coastal Scents one. I've got, like I said, I've got a couple of the other types of palettes that's more like a rubbery one. This is more like just a hard plastic. And it looks like the pans just sit inside that plastic. And the reason that that's squashed up there, if you can see, is actually a really good idea because I found when I was pressing in here, the first couple of times I was using it, I just wasn't paying attention. My thumb slipped in the palette. And if that hadn't been sort of moved up the way that it is, I probably would have gouged the powder. And like I said, they're fairly soft, so I probably would have gouged quite a bit of it. So I was fairly happy that that is designed that way. All of the 88 palettes appear to be designed that way in pictures that I've seen. So that's quite good. So a good little decent size to take. Say I'm traveling, I'd take this if I was going away for a couple of weeks if I just wanted sort of neutral, sort of very versatile looks. Love that. Just quickly moving on to the 88 Shimmer Palette. I won't spend too much time on this. I haven't used it very much. I've been playing with it all day today. And I've just put these little stickers on. I just because they're fairly plain. You get an 88p on the back, but apart from that, they look the same. So I just put 88S, so I know it's the 88 Shimmer. Beautiful rainbow of colours. Again, exactly the same sort of packaging. Absolutely gorgeous. These are more of your browns here, brown and browny greys. You've got your beautiful pinky reds here, your purple and berries, your hot pinks, your dolly pink, your blues moving into aquas, your teals, your greens, your apple greens, and some goldy colours. Absolutely gorgeous. The colour payoff is actually fairly decent on these. I've only played around with a couple of the browns today, but I've actually swatched all the colours just to have a look and comparison. Some of these mint greens are fairly similar, especially as they are all shimmery. I'll see if I can actually take my brush. This beautiful, oh gosh, it's gorgeous. It's an orangey pink colour. Just swatched it. Be again really careful because it's so bright. I'm just going over what I swatched before. This is just what I swatched before. That's that beautiful, vibrant pinky colour. It's a pity you can't see on camera, but when you actually blend it in, you just get a very nice sheen to it rather than a glitter. It's a beautiful sheen. And probably the one that I like the best is this beautiful apple green. I love it. It's a beautiful lime. Actually, I'll just use my finger. I don't normally do this, but just to sort of show you. That's that lime. I don't think it's a really good way to actually show colour, because your finger is a large surface area, plus it's oily, so it picks up a lot. But that is that purpley colour up the top. I just wanted to show you how beautiful and vibrant the colours are. Again, they do blend in and they do sheer out a little bit, so they probably don't give as much vibrancy as, say, something like a Sugar Pill eyeshadow, which I do have as well. But I'm now running out of time, so again, any questions you want, let me know. I'll be posting up pictures shortly on my blog, maybe over the next week. I'll try and get those up with my camera if I can get it working. Thanks again for watching.